Welcome back. This video is about severe weather outlook and watch warning advisory reception as we move through our severe weather awareness campaign. First things first, when we're talking about outlooks and watches and warnings, a couple agencies we'd like to point out. First would be the National Weather Service. You've heard of them before. They forecast weather conditions and issue warnings, watches, and advisories for hazardous weather. There are numerous National Weather Service offices all across the country. Every single county, every single parish in this entire country is under the jurisdiction of a Weather Service office. And I have attached a link before where you can access the website for the Weather Service at Indianapolis. They are the ones who serve almost all of the counties here in central Indiana, and you can, if you're interested in visiting their website or marking it as a bookmark, whatever, you can use this link here in the video. Just copy that link and then go to that website. Then we also have the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center branch, which is a branch of the National Weather Service located in Norman, Oklahoma. They are responsible for forecasting severe weather potential for the lower 48 and issuing all tornado and severe thunderstorm watches. The local National Weather Service offices will forecast severe weather as well, and they issue all the warnings. But the Storm Prediction Center, basically, the guys who work at the Storm Prediction Center are guys that have a lot of knowledge, a lot of good book knowledge, a lot of experience under their belt. They know what they're talking about when it comes to severe weather, and they're not perfect. They do get it wrong from time to time, like any meteorologist. But they know, they understand severe weather pretty well, and so they're kind of severe weather experts, if you will. And because a severe weather threat can cover a large area, it just kind of makes more sense to issue watches that cover a larger area. So basically, when there is a threat for severe weather, the Storm Prediction Center goes into collaboration with several Weather Service offices within the risk area, and then they coordinate together a severe weather watch of some kind, and then the Storm Prediction Center has the final say, and they issue the watch. So how that works. Storm Prediction Center also is the one responsible for issuing the convective outlooks. You've seen these on TV before. The slight risk, the moderate risk, the high risk. They have since updated this convective outlook process to include two new areas, marginal and enhanced. So it's marginal, then slight, then enhanced, then moderate, then high. And I know some of the wording here can be a little misleading. I'm not really a big fan of these new convective outlooks, but we'll see how they do. Marginal risk, if that's the case, if that's what you're under, the severe weather threat is pretty low. There could be a little bit of severe weather, but it's not expecting much. Slight risk, that's one step higher than the marginal. Slight risk, yeah, you can get some severe weather. It's still not an overly significant threat, but you can definitely get severe weather during a slight risk day. Enhanced, once you're at the enhanced category, then you're talking about the potential for some of those storms to be a little bit on some of that severe weather to be a little more on the substantial side. Could be a little more widespread. By the time you're talking moderate risk, then you're looking at the potential for some serious problems. Significant, widespread, severe weather. High risk, which is the highest category, is very rare, but we have seen them before. And once you're at the high risk point, you're pretty much talking tornado outbreak likely, or significant, widespread, damaging winds likely. And so that's just kind of how the convective outlooks work. Again, I know that wording can be a little misleading. You know, it doesn't seem like there's much difference between marginal and slight, but that's just this is a new thing that they are trying, that the Storm Prediction Center is trying. So it's all experimental, and we'll just see how it works. I personally like the older system better, which was just slight, moderate, and high, but we'll give this a chance to see how it works. And keep in mind something, that these, on the day of the event, on the day that the severe weather is in the forecast, which would be what we call day one, on day one, these these outlooks are updated 5 times a day. The day before, they are updated twice, and the day before that, they are issued only once and not updated. They are these convective outlooks are issued either on the current day or up to 2 days in advance. And so, bottom line, they change. They change all the time. Keep that in mind. So you may be in a slight risk 2 days before the event, and then the day that the event is expected, you might be under high risk. I've seen it happen before. So just keep that in mind. And this is a link that you can check up on if you want to read more about these outlooks and how they look and how they work. Terrell Severe Storm Center, which is what I consider myself to be. I am always watching. I'm always on the alert. When I see a threat for severe weather, I will let you know about it if it's worth mentioning. What I mean by worth mentioning is if there is consistency within computer models that a severe weather threat could develop across central Indiana, either on the current day or the next several days. So I'm always try to be on the ball. I'm not perfect. I sleep. I work. I'm like any other human being. I make mistakes. I don't always get forecast right. So that is why I want to emphasize that I'm not meant to be your primary source for alerts, for watches, warnings, and advisories. I try to post them as much as I can when warnings come out for Morgan County and other counties in central Indiana as well sometimes. But I am not perfect. I'm a one-man show and I make mistakes. I don't always get the forecast right. And that's always something to keep in mind when you're following me on Facebook and Twitter, when you will see these alerts posted. And this is an example of those convective outlooks from the Storm Prediction Center using April 27, 2011, which was an absolutely disastrous tornado outbreak, unlike anything I'd ever seen in my life. The map here on the left, this is what the convective outlooks look like on that day, the slight, the moderate, the high. This is what it would look like now, according to the SPC, if this event was taking place during the time frame of these new categorical outlooks. So you have your marginal risk in the dark green, you have your slight risk in the yellow, your enhanced in the orange, your moderate in the red, and your high in the pink. So that's just kind of gives you a little example of what we'll be looking at when we see these new convective outlooks as a function throughout the year, and as they are issued throughout the year. So, of course, let's not forget watch versus warning, and it kind of amazes me. There's people all the time that still do not understand the difference between the two. Watch is issued when tornadoes and or severe thunderstorms are possible. If you're looking at more of a hail and a wind threat and a lesser of a tornado threat, it's going to be a severe thunderstorm watch. But if the tornado threat is looking pretty decent, or of course if it's looking pretty significant, then the Storm Prediction Center is going to refrain from a severe thunderstorm watch and instead issue a tornado watch. And basically, when a watch is issued, you don't panic, don't get all in a ditch, but watch basically means that severe weather is possible. It's a way of telling the public, hey, the next several hours could get a little hairy around here. No imminent danger, but you do need to be on the alert and you do need to be watching. Don't stop your life. Continue with whatever you had going on. Continue with your day, but just be ready to take action. Be on the alert and be ready to take action if necessary. And a warning means that severe weather, whether it's a tornado or a severe thunderstorm with large hail and damaging winds, is imminent. Of course, let's not forget we have flash flood watches and warnings too. Flash flood warning obviously means flash flooding is imminent. Flash flood watch might be issued on days when excessively rapidly falling heavy rain is expected, or possible, I should say. And so when it comes to receiving watches and warnings, this is when we get into the warning reception part. There are several ways that you can utilize when you're looking to receive severe weather alerts. One of the best ways is through weather radio. And I recommend not just any weather. I'm having trouble with parentheses throughout this whole campaign. Keep forgetting my caps lock is on. I hate it when I do that. Keep forgetting the caps lock is on, and keep forgetting to hit the shift button when I add the other parentheses. Dang it! But and the embarrassing thing is, I even go and double check this stuff, and I still miss it. But anyway, the weather radio is a recommended source, and I also recommend a weather radio with same technology. I forget what exactly same stands for, but basically, weather radio with same technology allows you to program the radio so that the radio will only receive alerts for your specific county. Now that we have the polygon warnings that are now issued, you can even be a little more specific. So unfortunately, if the warning is for the southern part of the county, and you live in the northern part, it's still going to go off regardless. But it's better than nothing if that's what you have. It's better than nothing as long as it's something that's going to wake you up at night. Then it's all worth it, because that's really one of the key things with weather radios, is that they can wake you up and alert you during the nighttime when you're asleep. So everybody, and really everybody in the mobile home, really anybody at all, should have a weather radio or some type of device that can wake you up at night when there's severe weather, such as cell phone alert apps and options. When I say options, I know my iPhone can be programmed to receive tornado warnings from the emergency alert system, or some type of alert system. I don't know exactly if that's what's used or not, but it does not receive very many weather warnings. It does not receive severe thunderstorm warnings, to my knowledge. Same thing with flash flood warnings. I may be wrong about that, but I do know it will go off for tornado warnings. So that's something you could use. I think it would be probably better if you had an alert app of some type, if this is the route you want to go, because then it will go off for more than tornado warnings, such as the severe thunderstorm warnings and whatnot. And I believe some of these cell phone apps can be pretty precise with the location. So that's a good thing. I believe some of them can actually get it right to where it will only go off if you are in the actual warning polygon. And then text message alert systems. I know a lot of the local media stations will provide text messaging services. I believe the Weather Channel still does. Basically send you a text when a warning or watch of some type is issued for your area. And finally, I repeat, do not rely on tornado sirens. They may be able to let people who are outdoors know that severe weather is approaching. That might be a good thing to use them for, but other than that, forget it. Do not count on them to wake you up at night. I won't say that they won't, but chances are they're not. Do not rely on sirens, especially during the nighttime, because if you don't hear them, and you don't have any other source to wake you up, you could be in a lot of trouble. We hear stories all the time. People say, "Well, I didn't hear the sirens go off," and we really think that that's how a lot of people end up dead, because they rely too much and too heavily on tornado sirens. Do not rely on sirens. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video. I wish you a great weekend.